All right. Sweet. All right, welcome back, guys. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel and all my videos that I post on there. I appreciate it so much. If you guys subscribe, it means the world to me. And I thank you guys for coming back and watching this video now, too. I'll be talking about the NBA season that's coming up. It's actually going to be starting tomorrow, which is December 22nd, as I'm filming this today, which is Monday, December 21st. My apologies for not being able to upload a video, I believe, last week. I had the Giants and Jets video that I made 2 weeks ago. Just been busy and stuff. I was prepping for the fantasy basketball draft that I had for my league. We had it this past Saturday night. That went well. It was our first auction league draft after many years of doing Snake. So it was a different transition and learning curve for all of us in that league, all 12 of us. But it went very well. I can't complain. I'm sure everybody else in that league loves their team just like I do. But it's going to be a fun season. I can't wait, and I'll be talking about it today. I'm going to be talking about, obviously, the Knicks, the Nets, and the Bulls, what to expect this season, how their offseason went. And then I'll make a prediction at the end of the video who I think will win the NBA MVP, the Finals MVP, Rookie of the Year, and who's going to come out of the East and the West and the NBA champion, which will be crowned, I believe, they said in July this year. As the season's 72 games, they shortened it by 10, just like they kind of did last season for most teams with the pandemic, having to go in the bubble. And that was pretty much a success, as there was no positive test in that bubble, which was great. Kudos to the NBA. So now we're looking forward to the new season where everyone's in their home arenas in their city. And obviously with no fans, let's just hope and pray that this is a successful season and it's COVID-free. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. The season starts off tomorrow with the Brooklyn Nets facing the Golden State Warriors. That's the early game, and then the late game is the Los Angeles Clippers against the defending world champion Los Angeles Lakers. So it should be a fun 2 games to watch. And then Wednesday, you'll have the rest of the league that didn't play Tuesday starting their games, like the Knicks and the Bulls and those teams. So yeah, so it's going to be a full slate of games on Wednesday, and then we get our 5 Christmas Day games every annual Christmas Day. I think it starts with the Heat and the Pelicans at noon, and then I believe there's other games. There's the Nets play the Celtics that night. The Lakers play the Mavs, and then the Nuggets play the Clippers. I don't know the other game. I'd have to look that up, though. But there is 5 games on the calendar for Christmas, as they do every year. The NBA does. So it comes in an annual thing that you do on Thanksgiving, like football does on Thanksgiving. You watch football on Thanksgiving. You do the same with basketball for Christmas Day. NBA they get Christmas Day. So it should be fun, during these times with the pandemic and stuff. Not all of us are able to spend it with our loved ones that we don't live with. So hopefully, watching basketball and hanging out with your immediate family, hopefully that's more than enough, and we can all get through this and, just take one step at a time and just be happy that we have at least a Christmas this year to spend with some loved ones. So that being said, I'll get into it now. I'm going to start off with the New York Knicks, obviously. So I'll talk about the draft they had. I think they got an absolute steal. They had the number 8 pick in the draft, the 2020 NBA draft, which happened last month at the end of November. They were able to take Obi Toppin, the forward from Dayton University. This guy is I think he's going to be a beast in the NBA. I really am. I don't say a lot about the Knicks. I'm very critical on them, as everyone knows in our fantasy basketball group chat. I tend to have ripped on them because, let's face it, the Knicks have been an absolute joke the last 20 years. So anyway, long story short, I've been ripping them on every single thing possible because they've been ran horribly and they're a big disgrace. Their owner, Jim Dolan, is at the top of the reasons why they're such an embarrassment, because they can't get any superstar free agents to come to New York, which is ridiculous because who wouldn't want to play here? The only way they don't is if with a horrible owner like Jim Dolan. So that being said, though, this season came along. They hired Tom Thibodeau, who was used to be the head coach of my Bulls team, that I loved dearly for there was like a 5 year stretch from 2010 to 2015 where they were a threat to try to top off the Miami Heat at the time with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, the big three. They were unsuccessful, but that still was such a fun team to watch. They played great. They were able to learn defense from Tom Thibodeau. I know they had a prime Derrick Rose, who was an absolute animal, but they had guys like Joakim Noah, Luol Deng, Carlos Boozer. They had, and then a couple later on, Nikolai Mirotic, and then the emergence of Jimmy Butler. That all happened under the tutelage of Tom Thibodeau. So I'm a big fan of Tom Thibodeau. I'm a big fan of the hiring from the Knicks. I think this is one of the best hirings they've had at head coach in a really, really long time, probably since Jeff Van Gundy back in the 90s. So, I like it. He brings a lot of knowledge on the defensive side of the ball in basketball, which is a very underrated part in today's game. Everyone likes to take the three-point shot and just it's all about scoring and stuff like that. But Tom Thibodeau, he's going to work on getting everyone to play defense on that team who hasn't yet. And I think they can even be better, like a Mitchell Robinson and all of them. Even though their offensive game is very, very, they don't have a lot of upside with their offense, he can make Mitchell Robinson one of the best defenders in the league, possibly. So I would look forward to that. And I also think he can teach Obi Toppin, the kid that the Knicks obviously drafted, he could teach him to play defense because he has a great offensive game that came out of college. He averaged about 20 and 8 in college. I think that could translate into the NBA with the coaching of Tom Thibodeau. So I like the hire, and I love the draft pick from Thibodeau taking Obi Toppin at 8, which is a steal because he should have went 4th to the Chicago Bulls, one of my other favorite teams. Instead, they took a backup forward from Florida State named Patrick Williams, who didn't even start, obviously, as I said, backup forward at Florida State. Didn't even start, came off the bench. So how do you have enough video or stats for Patrick Williams to take him? I'll talk about the Bulls a little later about that, but that Obi Toppin was my 4th best player in that draft. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of Anthony Edwards, who came out of Georgia. He was the number 1 overall pick taken by Minnesota. He didn't really shoot that well in college. He just had a lot of shots. He had a high usage rate with his shots, and he was able to average a lot of points in college, but I don't know if that will translate in the league. Usually you have a decline with better defense and better players. Your field goal percentage decreases a little bit in college, so I think it's going to go down even worse. But I think James Wiseman's the best player in the draft. He was the best player in the draft, taken by Golden State number 2. I don't know if he'll win the Rookie of the Year, though. My Rookie of the Year is probably going to be LaMelo Ball, who's taken 3rd by the Charlotte Hornets and Michael Jordan. He's just growing. He's only 19 years old. He's going to be a very, very good player in this league, man. He's a point guard. He has handles like a point guard, and he has a chance to grow up to 6'11", 7 feet, because he's still growing. He hit puberty late. So I was looking forward to that. I think he'll be my Rookie of the Year. Obi Toppin will finish 2nd, but I think Obi Toppin's a steal at 8, and the Knicks did a great job there. I'm looking forward to how they play this year. Obviously, I don't think they're going to be good, but if they can improve from having a 2nd or 3rd worst record, my bad, my eye is itching me for some reason, so I apologize for itching my eye there. But I think the Knicks will finish probably between the seeds of like 9 and 10. So I think they get a play-in. They could have a play-in game or whatever. Because what the new NBA rule is that 1 through 7, I believe, is locked. Or 1 through 6 is. And then the 7, 8, 9, and 10 seeds in each conference play a one-game tournament. And then you move on. And then you'll end up, whoever wins that tournament is the official 7 and 8 seeds, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that, though. But I'm interested to see how it will play out this year. I know it worked well in the bubble with Portland and Memphis being the 8 and 9 seed, and then Portland ended up winning that game to become the 8 seed and versus the Lakers, who were the 1 seed in the first round. So that was pretty cool to see. I don't know how it would be if you're adding more teams, though. I would have to see how that plays out this year. But I think the Knicks will finish anywhere between like 8, 9, and 10 seed in the East, which is obviously an improvement from being one of the worst 3 records in the East the last God only knows how, like 5, 6 years or whatever. So it's all about making small steps for the Knicks to get better, and in order to do what the Brooklyn Nets did, where the Brooklyn Nets about 2-3 years ago they developed with their draft. They drafted guys like Jared Allen. They drafted Karis LeVert. They had like middle round picks. They did very well with their evaluating their talent there and making the draft picks. And then they also were able to trade for D'Angelo Russell for Brook Lopez. They got him from the Lakers. He ended up having a career year. And I know they had to ship out D'Angelo Russell the following year, but they were able to attract Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant in free agency last year, which for the Knicks, they have to follow that same model. They have to hit on their draft picks, so hopefully they hit on Obi Toppin, and hopefully next year they hit on another player, and it's just small steps, and then that's where the star talent, from other teams would want to come to the Knicks, because the Knicks haven't been able to attract any talent since Carmelo Anthony and Amari Stoudemire. Let's be real here. Those are the last two all-star players that wanted to come to Knicks via free agency. So it's all about the draft. For the Knicks right now, you have to take slow steps. I know it's been very, very long. They haven't been a championship contender in about over 20 years, but you got to do small steps now. You can't get all upset and depressed of the past. You got to look forward. The Thibodeau hiring, Obi Toppin coming in. Hopefully Mitchell Robinson improves. Hopefully the R.J. Barrett improves, the third overall pick from last year. So that's what you have to look at if you're the Knicks. So I'm looking forward to their season. They'll be interesting to watch this year, finally, which is good for the game of basketball. All right, so now on to the Brooklyn Nets, as I kind of hinted beforehand. So we were talking about D'Angelo Russell and all those guys, that how they were able to develop these guys into becoming better players and developing through the draft. So the Nets went from a bottom-of-the-barrel Eastern Conference team up to a 6th seed in the East. They were improving. Their coaching, their upper front office was respected around the league, and so they were able to recruit Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. So that being said, that happened. They were able to do that. I think their main goal was to get Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant is a bona fide future Hall of Famer. He's probably going to go down as if he's not in the top 10, he's at least a top 15 player of all time right now in his career. So you had to get him. I know he came off an Achilles injury in the NBA Finals when he was at Golden State. But it's Kevin Durant. You have to find a way to attract stars in this league. The NBA is a star-driven league, not like MLB, where the stars can help ratings, but they don't really help you win a championship. But if you get a star, you get like LeBron James, you get Giannis, you have a Steph Curry, you have a Kawhi Leonard. You're a championship contender already off the bat, just with those guys. You just got to find the right pieces to fit them in with those stars. So I think a guy like Anthony Davis for the Lakers, by the way, is a perfect fit for LeBron James, as they won the championship last year. Congrats to the Lakers for winning it all. But now with the Brooklyn Nets, if Kyrie Irving is that piece and he can be able to talk to the media, not complain and be a crybaby, just don't be a distraction for the Nets, Kevin Durant, and everybody on that team, because that's the last thing you want when you're trying to compete for a title. So, as you know, I'm not a big fan of Kyrie Irving. Not as anybody knows, but people who know me know that I'm not a fan of Kyrie Irving. I think he is a very, very good player. He has one of the best handles in the league. He's very flashy, which is entertaining, but I don't think it translates to wins as you've seen in the past with the teams that he's been on. They've seemed like they've been better with him off the court. But hopefully that changes now with Kevin Durant, because he was out last year with the Achilles, so he had a year off to recover. You've seen some flashes of the old KD in preseason. Him and Kyrie worked really well last preseason game, so that's great to look upon. And this Nets team is stacked now. The Nets they still have Spencer Dinwiddie. They still have Karis LeVert. They still have Jared Allen. I can see all three of those guys possibly coming off the bench, and they were starters last year, and they made the playoffs as a 7 seed. So this team is really deep. If you look on paper, 1 through 12, I think the Brooklyn Nets have the best team in the league. I think they really do. It's going to be fun to watch the Brooklyn Nets this year. It really is. I just hope that they can click. Kyrie doesn't become a distraction. Same, Kevin Durant, hopefully he's at least 75% of what he once was, because with an Achilles injury, that's a major injury, and it's hard to overcome that. It ended a lot of careers, actually. It ended Kobe's career. He had an Achilles injury. He was never the same player. It ended Patrick Ewing's career, a former Knick legend. Same thing with him. He was never the same. He was able to come back. Never was the old Patrick Ewing. With Kevin, they were a little bit older, those guys, when they had those Achilles injuries. With Kevin Durant, he's 32 years old. So he's not, in basketball terms, he's not young anymore, but he's still not old yet. He's still got some of his prime left. Hopefully, like I said, he's at least 75% of himself. That's what you got to hope for as a Net fan. You may not be able to get a full 100% KD, but the Nets may not even need that. With how deep their team is, they don't need Kevin Durant to be a 100% version of himself. If he's 75%, like I said, I think that may be enough for them to come out of the East and possibly win a championship. So, that is, I'm looking forward to the Nets this year. They're going to be an interesting team to watch. As much as I don't like Kyrie Irving, he's still a top 20 player in basketball. And then you got Kevin Durant, who, when healthy, is obviously clearly a top 10 player in basketball. Hopefully they work, they works together. We'll see what happens. But having that squad that Brooklyn has with possibly Dinwiddie, LeVert, and Jared Allen coming off the bench, because they're going to have probably DeAndre Jordan start, because he's out of his prime now, but he's buddies with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. So he was a package with them. The three of them were a package coming into Brooklyn. So I think pairing them with the same chemistry together, I think they could work together. I think Joe Harris starting should be the option, because Joe Harris is a spot-up three-point shooter, and I think he's going to have so many open looks with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving on the court. They're going to get all the attention, so hopefully he gets a lot of looks, and they're able to find him, and he can drain those threes, and that would be a perfect fit in that system. And then the Nets had the hiring of Steve Nash, which I think is a great hire. He has a high, excellent basketball IQ. He's a Hall of Famer, former two-time NBA League MVP. He is a point guard. A lot of point guards get head coaching jobs in the NBA. It's just like the catcher in baseball with them getting managerial jobs. You have to have a high IQ. It's a high IQ position in the league because you're running the whole entire offense. You're the main ball handler, bringing it up the court. You're running the offense. You're running the plays and the sets and stuff like that, the pick and rolls. So I think with Steve Nash, I think that's a great hire by Brooklyn, by the way. I think he's going to work well with Kevin Durant and Kyrie because they love him. Supposedly, the media is saying that they wanted Steve Nash to be the coach. And then he's also bringing in a lot of a good assistant coach. He has Mike D'Antoni, who was his head coach in Phoenix when it was him and Amari Stoudemire, and he just left the Houston Rockets job. He did a pretty okay job with them. They didn't make the finals, but they had to deal with a Golden State team for most of those years. But having Mike D'Antoni as assistant coach should be good, helping Steve Nash, who's a first-year coach, out. And then also they have like Amari Stoudemire, was on that team too, a former Knick. He's going to be coaching with them now, so that's going to be interesting as well, seeing him as a coach, which is odd. And then Jacque Vaughn's back, who was the interim coach last year, who did a very good job. So there's a lot. The Nets have the talent and then the coaching to be able to compete for a championship this year. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I also want to address the James Harden rumors. He wants to go to Brooklyn. I think if you get James Harden, you should be winning the East with no problem. I know you have to deal with Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, and Miami, who's the defending Eastern Conference champions. You have to deal with those teams, but if you get James Harden and you're able to give up maybe only I like the guy a lot, but Jared Allen and Joe Harris and first round picks, multiple ones, 2 or 3, I think you do that because James Harden still got 4 or 5 years left of his prime, and I think he's a top 5 player in basketball. If you pair him up with Kevin Durant, you put so much less pressure on him and Kyrie Irving, and I think with that big three, they could do a lot of great things, and that's going to be insane if that ever comes to fruition because Harden does want out of Houston, supposedly. I know we're only a day away from the regular season, but I've heard rumors that he wants to. The Rockets GM wants to trade him by Tuesday. So Brooklyn was at the top of his list. He also wants to go to like Philadelphia, Miami. I've heard, all those Eastern Conference teams that are competing for a title. But we'll see. We don't know now, so he's not on the team. But we'll see what happens with the James Harden rumors there. But if they get him, that's going to be a huge, huge plus for Brooklyn. Big time for the Nets. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how they play this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then I'm just going to go over a little bit my Chicago Bulls. I like the hiring of Billy Donovan. He's a former two-time national champion with the Florida Gators in college basketball. He did a very good job, I think, in Oklahoma City. When he was with Oklahoma City, he was able to coach Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, and all those guys. And then Chris Paul last year. He did a very good job with the Oklahoma City Thunder last year, who was supposed to be rebuilding. He got them to a 6 seed, and they took the Houston Rockets 7 games in the first round. I think he's a good coach. I really do. I think, but the problem is I think the Bulls don't have that much talent yet. They're still getting better. I'm a big fan of Kobe White. I'm a fan of Lauri Markkanen. I like Wendell Carter Jr. And I also like Zach LaVine. I think they have a solid core there, but they hasn't transitioned to wins yet. I'm waiting on it. Hopefully they all can take the next step this year, because I don't think they're that bad of a team. They should be competing for a 7 or 8 spot in the Eastern Conference, if not be better than that. And I just want to be able to see the Bulls be good again. Since Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler and all of them left that team, Joakim Noah, it hasn't been that pretty in Chicago. But with Billy Donovan coming in and with all the new guys, not all the new guys, but all the young guys, with the guys I named, Markkanen, Wendell Carter, Zach LaVine, Kobe White, and all them, they're going to be exciting too to watch, even though they may not make the playoffs. I think they'll come in as like a 9th seed. They'll play in the tournament, I think, with the Knicks. We'll see there. Hopefully that'd be cool. That'd be fun to watch. But anyways, I think they screwed up with that 4th overall pick with Patrick Williams. I'm not a fan of him. I think they should have took Obi Toppin. They let the Knicks and other teams get a chance to get him. I just think they had the worst draft out of anybody this year. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it's going to be a fun season. I cannot wait. Last year, too, was kind of tough to figure out an NBA champion. But when we had the Warriors and Cavs versing like every year for 4 years straight, I mean, the league was kind of boring outside of me doing fantasy, because it's like, all right, Golden State and Cleveland's going to go to the finals. Outside of Cleveland winning 1 year, Golden State's going to win. Like, it was the same boring result. Now you have so many teams that could compete for a title. You have the Lakers, obviously, who won already. You have the Miami Heat, who were in the finals last year with the Lakers. You have the Clippers. You have the Denver Nuggets. You have the Boston Celtics. You have the Brooklyn Nets now with KD and Kyrie, obviously. You have the Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis signing a supermax deal, staying in Milwaukee for another 5 years, along with them acquiring Drew Holiday, which is an upgrade from Eric Bledsoe. So I like to see Holiday, Middleton, and Giannis with Milwaukee. I think they can do special things. Hopefully, I think they may go to the finals this year. I'm obviously rooting for Brooklyn because I'm a Nets. I root for the Nets, but I'm praying that will happen. So, but yeah, you got a lot of those teams. It's hard to predict who's going to win the championship this year. Obviously, I think the little bit of a favorite is obviously the Lakers again with LeBron and AD. How can you not have them as the favorite? But I think that the Los Angeles Lakers will come out of the West again. I think they'll win it again for a second straight year. And then coming out of the East, I think this year it's going to be Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee is going to beat the Brooklyn Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think Milwaukee will have the best record in the East. The Lakers will have the best record in the West. The Nets, I think, will have the second best record in the East behind Milwaukee. And I think that the Clippers will have the second best record in the West behind the Lakers. So I think the Lakers and Clippers will see a Western Conference Finals with them again. I mean, not with them again, because the Clippers choked last year. They lost to the Nuggets in 7 games in the semis. But I think this year they will make the conference finals, but they'll lose again. They'll come up short of missing the NBA Finals again because they'll lose to the Lakers. And like I said, the Bucks will beat the Nets in the Eastern Conference Final. That'll be my prediction. Hopefully the Nets go to the finals. That's what I'm rooting for. But I think the Bucks will win this year. I think, like I said, Drew Holiday, adding him over Eric Bledsoe is an upgrade for Giannis and Chris Middleton. I think that'll help them out tremendously. So, yeah, I think that the Lakers and Bucks will be in the NBA Finals. And I think that the Milwaukee Bucks will win the NBA Finals this year. I think Giannis is going to win a ring in Milwaukee. I think he is. He's going to take the next step, as he already has before. But I think his shooting is going to get better. He's obviously not a good shooter still, but he's just so dominant in the paint. Driving, as the main ball carrier, the ball handler. My apologies, a ball handler. So when he's the main ball handler and he's able to drive to the hoop, like that's just such a deadly combo with that, and also him being able to be an excellent passer like he is, giving it to open guys like Middleton, Dante DiVincenzo, and all those other guys on that team. And I also think like with Drew Holiday helps too because he's a great defender. He can put pressure off of Giannis and Middleton with defending the perimeter for the Milwaukee Bucks. So I think Milwaukee is going to come out on top and Giannis is going to win the ring. He'll be the finals MVP. I have LeBron James winning the regular season MVP for a 5th time. And I have LaMelo Ball winning Rookie of the Year. So that is my predictions. As I said, I have the Knicks, and then the Knicks, obviously, like I said, the Knicks and the Bulls, I have them finishing between like 8, 9, and 10 in the Eastern Conference, which is they're competing for an 8 spot, which is going to be fun. And they're all both improving. And then obviously with the Nets, they're competing for a championship with multiple teams in the East. So we'll see how that plays out. Thank you guys for watching. It's going to be a fun season. It's going to be the most fun season, even during the COVID pandemic, in many years for the NBA. This is good for the game that they have multiple teams that compete for a championship. I can't wait for that. I can't wait for the start of my fantasy basketball season. It's going to be very fun. I appreciate you guys watching this. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. It means so much to me. So much to me. I appreciate you guys watching this. I love making these videos for you guys. And I can't wait for the next time I come out with another video. I'll see what happens. I'll have to play it by ear. I'll go through the next couple of days and figure out what I'll post on my next video. But it will be after Christmas. So I just want to say happy holidays from myself to you guys. I hope you guys enjoy yourselves. Please be safe. That's the most important part. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Have a good one. Hey guys, before I forget, I just want to give a quick shout out to Crick Nick. He's a he's on YouTube. He has his own personal YouTube channel where he posts a lot of stuff. He's an avid gamer. He'll post a lot of Pokemon stuff and all those games. But I just want to go back to earlier this year. My buddy introduced me to him and a couple of our friends, and we got into this club, and it's a Super Mario Baseball Club, where we play on the Nintendo GameCube Super Mario Baseball, the video game that came out back in, I believe, 2005. So we have our own league that we play, and we film it on YouTube. We have 2 people that verse each other, and then we have 2 or 3 people that would be on commentary and just be talking throughout the videos. And it's kind of like a little mini podcast with the game being filmed. But we have a title belt, we have playoffs and stuff like that. We determine a league champion for each season. We are on Season 6 right now. I joined in Season 5 with my buddies. I'm glad to be a small part of that YouTube channel. There's a big following on Discord. I will send a link to the Super Mario Baseball Club channel. We're at 490 subscribers right now. Our goal right now is try to hit 500. We're very close, obviously. We're 10 subscribers away from hitting 500. If you guys can, please subscribe to both Crit Nick's YouTube channel and the Mario Superstar Baseball Club. He runs the Mario Superstar Baseball Club YouTube channel. He uploads videos on a daily basis, and he also video edits. He takes a lot of he does a lot in his free time to upload these videos and do it for the league, and we appreciate him for doing that. And like I said, I'm glad to be a small part of the YouTube channel. Like I said, we have a big Discord following. It's getting bigger and bigger, and I can't wait to see how this channel goes in the next upcoming months in the future. But I'm glad to be part of the league. And I'm glad my buddies are in the league too, and we have a fun time filming, which we have done every Thursday since summer. But I think we have stopped about a week before Thanksgiving because of COVID reasons. Him and his roommates decided that they wanted to postpone it until for the time being, and I respect that. With the COVID numbers rising here in Long Island and the state of New York, it's better to be safe than sorry. So I respect that decision, and I'm just glad, like I've said before, glad to be part of the channel, just a small part. I like the post-game interviews we do afterwards when we're all heated after a win or a loss. It's very fun, intense. It's very, very entertaining if you like to see people's react loudly. We have that on that channel. So, like I said, please subscribe to Crit Nick and the Mario Superstar Baseball YouTube channel. I'll post links in the description below on my video for those. And like I said, that means the world to me and Nick. Crit Nick, I should say. And so I can't wait to film in the future again when things get better here. And I hope all you guys have a happy holiday. Merry Christmas. Please be safe, like I've said before. And take care. I'll see you for my next video. Bye-bye.